Welcome to Raw Talent. Welcome to Raw Talent. With your host, Miss. Hello, and welcome to the Raw Talent Experience. Today, I have Mz Tonia Emanuel. How are you?
Hello, doing good. Excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here. You have so much we gotta go over. So she is a life coach.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her myself because I'm amazed. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I found out she was a volunteer in 2005 and 6 as secretary, treasurer, and vice president. And president for the VAPTA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then your accomplishments: the Crisis Text Line, the International Coach Foundation,
yes,
NAACP,
yes.
Richmond Chambers of Commerce.
Yes.
The list goes on. She has management, research, and leadership skills. Mm-hmm. You have a license in body language for women as of October of 2019. Accredited entrepreneur and business coach for startup June 2019. Certified life coach May 2019. Mastering project management.
Yes. When you start looking at somebody else's list, your stuff, you're like, what? I did.
I mean, I was amazed when I was finding all this out myself. Career at a Fortune 500 company with 25 years of experience. Mm-hmm. You also have several stints in jail and a felony.
I do.
Mm-hmm. You was a mother at 22. You had your daughter.
Yeah.
In 2017, you had a really bad emotional breakdown. 41 years old and single with a 3-month-old son.
44. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Son was in the NICU.
Yep.
And your daughter was 21 when the baby was.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It does seem like a lot, doesn't it? Like, I'm really believe in backing up what I say. If I say I'm going to do that thing or show something, I'm going to really step up to the plate. So if I'm going to be a parent of the PTA, that's what I'm going to do.
Right. Mm-hmm. You wore all the hats.
Yeah.
You didn't stop and cut no corners. I mean, I think that's amazing though, because that was a lot for you to accomplish in just a couple of sentences that I read. So I'm amazed, and I want to tell you congratulations.
Thank you.
Personally.
Thank you so much.
So
I appreciate it.
What made you decide to go from working for a Fortune 500 company to being a life coach? How did we get there?
Through my own mental issues, I have always suffered with like anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts for years since I was a young girl. I think one of my first thoughts of suicide probably was around about 6th grade. I grew up in Henrico County in the 80s, 90s, and during that time, there were no black folks in Henrico County in the West End, okay? Right. And, being in that environment was hard because we were really middle class, but we was really poor. Right. My mom was married to my stepfather. She had 2 other kids. It was a really highly volatile situation because, it was difficult for them in their marriage, and I was the oldest child, and so a lot of things fell on me. And so my brother and sister were 7 years apart. It was lonely. It was a lonely world for me, and to really try to get along with my counterparts who were white and still try to be a dark-skinned black girl who fit in to people who had their own mindsets about racism and such an environment was really difficult. But, growing up, all my friends were white or Asian or Hispanic or whatever. I didn't really have any black friends until probably middle school, for real. So
how did you adjust? How did you deal with it? At that age?
Very hard. It was very difficult, but to me it was fun too. But it was really just a lot of turmoil. I stayed in trouble. I also had ADHD, and so that didn't help. And during that time, parents never treated their children.
Or believed in
it. Or believed in it. You tell your kids, or you tell the teachers tell your kids that you have an issue, your parents is like, well, I'm gonna beat them out of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're gonna sit down and
right.
do, you know. And so it was one of those things. And then my mom worked 2 jobs. She had 2 younger children. So things fell on me. I mean, I remember coming in the house with a key around my neck. You lose that key, you can get that ass whooped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so things like that, you just kind of become really resilient and just kind of tune things out and just go along with the flow the best that you can. But when you get into your adult life, then things change. And for me, I didn't really see the racism part. You know, not really, because all my friends were white. I didn't know what my mom was talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when I got into corporate America and started working, then I knew, you know, that this racism thing was alive and real. So really how I survived, I walled it up. I was tough. You know, I don't know if it's a Taurus female in me or just the pure BITZH. I don't know. But, you know, you had to be tough. In the way I grew up, you had to be tough. And it wasn't a you know, tough from the projects, because people have that story too. Or then it wasn't any sexual abuse, but it was physical and mental abuse. And that's just as volatile.
Mental abuse is just as bad.
Just as bad.
Mm-hmm. So how did you, coming into adulthood, still dealing with the depression and things like that, how did you transform into corporate America?
Well, really it was the determination. I had the determination to keep going, because even though when I was in school, I failed 2nd grade. When people told me I couldn't, I still did. It just didn't matter. You know, whenever my mom said, hey, you just need to learn how to type and be a secretary, I always, in the back of my mind, knew that I could be more than just that. It's just that some things were confusing to me, you know. And so keep going, just keep trying, keep persevering. And also I had people in my life who did show me that little shadow of not giving up. So in high school, I had a principal named Mr. Pike. And if anybody lives in Henrico, they know that Mr. Pike is now on the school board. And he was a real advocate for me. Like, instead of kicking me out of school, he sat my ass in school detention.
Right.
And he would talk to me and ask me and hear me and listen to what's going on with me. And then he was like, well, okay, what about this? Give me some other options to think about. And then also, my stepdad, even though he wasn't there as much as he could be, he was an advocate for me too. So it's a lot to be said for step parents as well, and really good teachers or principals of schools. Right. So if you just get a little hint of somebody who believes in you, then you can kind of make the adjustment. If you just have somebody to say, you know, you ain't dumb.
Right. You can do it. Just a little bit of encouragement.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
So what exactly is a life coach?
A life coach. Well, I got into life coaching because I wanted other people to have the experience that I had, and also it really was based out of public speaking. That's what I really like to do. I love to speak to audiences. I love to encourage other people to live their best life. And no matter what people tell you or how people try to confine you, whether it's through education system, they try to confine you. I think the SOLs is the biggest joke we've ever had. I have a problem with the school systems and how they educate our children. So we have to bring it in and make sure we educate them. It's so many things that confine you. And even when you go to jail, and especially in the state of Virginia, once you make a mistake, they condemn you for a lifetime.
Yes.
And what the issue with that is that you have to really break yourself out of the box that they have put you in and literally release yourself, because at a certain point you think or that box is what they've done to you. And really, once they've let you out of jail or out of that system for school or whatever that system is, what happens is we remain in the box and think that this is all that we can do.
So how do you climb out of the box?
How do you climb out of that box? It takes a lot of support, and you have to want the help. So you have to literally seek the help for yourself, because sometimes your friends, and if you're lucky, you might have friends that can help you. You might have family members who can help you and just say, hey, but you really need to get the help that you need for yourself. If you feel like there's just something missing and there's more, to life, if you wake up every day and you say, there's got to be more to this.
Right.
No matter what I did, no matter how many fuck-ups I made, how many mistakes I made, I'm still good enough. It doesn't matter what I did. As long as God sees you and God sees all of us. You know, we're all sovereign beings having a human experience, right?
Yeah.
Our experiences are so different and so unique to each and every one of us. No matter what mistakes you've made, no matter what somebody's done to you, no matter what anyone has told you, there's a chance for you to really look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, I'm here because I breathe and because I exist, then clearly God has more for me.
Right.
And then that's when you say, how do I
move forward?
Right.
So how did you get to the point where you did multiple stints in jail?
Ooh, man. Okay, so
let's experience that with you.
My first stint in jail was in high school. I think I had a friend who was stealing at, before it was Dillard's, but I still see a yellow color, maybe Profits or something. I don't know what it's called.
I don't know.
Over in Chesterfield Town Center. Look, and so she was in the closet, in the room. She was stealing, and she handed me the hangers, and I'm like, well, I ain't stealing, so I threw them to the side. You know, when she handed them to me when she was stealing. And as we were leaving, the police grabbed her, they grabbed me, and long behold, because I was an accessory, you're held accountable just as if you had committed the crime. So that was the first time, and I think I might have been 17 years old. I might have did some community service, something like that. But the one thing that was interesting to me about that is house arrest and home confinement, and that I had a black probation officer who was a woman. I will never forget her, a very beautiful black woman who said, you need to get a job, you need to do this, and you need to do that. But every time I would try to get a job, she would call the job and say, oh, she was arrested for stealing. Okay, so how am I supposed to get a job so I can get off house arrest?
She was like holding you back instead of helping you?
Correct. She would call every single time.
Why?
That's the way our system is. Like, being on house arrest is not a good thing. You know, you might, it's almost like, I know you want to be out of jail, but you might as well serve your time, you know, and finish it out, because as soon as you are on house arrest or under these probation officers, it's only another opportunity for them to find a reason to punch you in the face again and have you reoffend, you know. And so from there, you know, I tried to make it out and keep getting jobs or whatever, and, you know, but finally I was off house. And then also, too, even then, one time I was tested positive for cocaine. I ain't never even seen no cocaine. So, you know, it's different things you have to be.
How is that even possible then?
Your guess is as good as mine. So to this day, Henrico County, to this day, I want to say, I believe I was 18 years old. That's a lie. I never tested positive for cocaine. I've never done cocaine because my sinuses are bad, okay? And so I don't put things up my nose. Now, it was a whole bunch of other, I could have tested positive for marijuana.
Right.
But even then, I wasn't even smoking pot then. I was, you know, that came later. And so, you know, once you get into that system, it's hard to make the adjustment to come out. But also, too, in your mind, things become simple when you get locked up, too. Because being out here is a lot harder than being in jail. So people don't recognize that can be a reciprocal thing and a cycle that people actually subconsciously put themselves back in jail because it's easier to deal with, you know, to deal with the relationships and the judgments and the criticism and what people say about you and the no's. How many no's do you get? But that particular incident left me with a misdemeanor. After that, I got caught stealing with another friend. And she told me that she was going to run the receipts out of Hill's department store, and, you know, I was to take all the stuff out. I took all the stuff out. She got caught, and lo and behold, she told on me. Man, of course she did.
My God.
The police showed up at my mama's house. Where's the stuff? I thought I was making Christmas for everybody, but in the Hills. That didn't work out. So that was one time. Then I got a couple of assault charges, and yes. And so, you know, when I think about it, every single decision that I made was a decision of my own and a decision to want to belong because I felt need. to be a part of something.
Right.
And I don't blame anybody. You know, a lot of, you know, the people that I've committed my crimes with, we're still friends. You know, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of dirt I didn't get caught for. Okay. You know, so to me, I'm really fortunate that I just got caught for. But my biggest one was a felony, and that was a theft charge when I was 18 years old. So
all of it, was that the last charge, the felony?
No. Shoot, I got an assault charge with my ex, and I was probably 35.
No, we're 36.
It wasn't no self-defense. It was me and him were at the BB concert, and he wanted to tell me what to do, and I told him what to do. And so, you know, and so all of it comes back to self-control, and I wanted to be better. I wouldn't call it that. See, what had happened was
you wouldn't call it that.
As we grow and develop, I know me. I have anger issues. I have, you know, not being accepted, not being able to, you know, be related to, not feeling like that I can relate to my people or people understand me. And that brought out a lot of anger in me.
Frustration.
And so as I went through therapy, you know, I always believe in a therapist. A therapist and a coach are two different things, because a therapist helps you dig up the past and kind of help you figure out why that is. Mm-hmm. A coach is somebody who helps you architect your future. We can talk about your past.
I was about to ask you that. Like, so you don't, if we were coaching, you wouldn't need the past to help with the future?
Absolutely. Your past is always a part of who you are. But in coaching, we help you honor the past. We help you accept who you are. And
you can't change it.
No, you cannot change it. You need to. I have coached people who, even through sexual molestation, have actually found gems in that. And if you read the Bible, there are places that they talk about shadow work and accepting the deepest, darkest shadows of ourselves. We can actually find golden gems in how we survive and how we become who we are moving forward. So it's very important to actually honor your past.
I think we all need some coaches then.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
All I can tell you is that I have a coach.
I know a lot of people who don't deal with their past, and it holds them back.
It does.
From, you know what I'm saying, moving forward.
Everything that most people have an issue about going forward is about something that they are lacking in their past.
Right.
It's always about something in the past. When I deal with people who are looking at trying to even grow their business, they have a successful business right now. You have a successful business, but you can't move past and move forward because they have an issue around money, so they blow money. They blow money real fast, and they don't invest, and they don't look at why they're doing that. You know why they're doing it? Because a lot of times they don't even believe they even deserve to be where they are. You know, and it's amazing how many people I know that are multi-millionaires who blow money fast. And, you know, and they don't invest in their businesses, but they're fortunate enough for their businesses to be growing.
Right.
But it's not going
where it could be.
And they don't know what's stopping them. And it all relates back to the mindset and how we have a container around our lives, and we don't consider that we could have ever been as far as we have gone. And so, you know, what I do is I really work on resiliency, and I work on helping people challenge their belief systems, because everything that we've been told and everything that we believe, is that what you believe or is that what you were told? That's the difference.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's good. What's the most challenging part of changing directions with your career?
Always for my career, I have the same problem. Fear is always a backseat. You know, fear is always the thing that stops all of us. You know, we think that we're going to be judged. We think that, you know, we're not good enough. We don't know enough. We're not smart enough. So even in my business now, it's always the case. Even when, you know, whether you have your own business or not, that doesn't matter. You could be in corporate America. You could be working for FedEx or whatever. What is the reason that you're not going for the management position, but that you really want? You know, I don't care where you work at. What's the reason for not asking for more money? What's the reason for saying, okay, $45,000 is good enough? You know, I shouldn't ask for that much. Should we make that much? But your counterparts are making more than that. They're making double what you make. And she don't even have a GED, though. You know, and I saw a lot of that in the state of Virginia. You know, when I worked for the state, even with the felony, I've worked for the city manager's office in the city of Richmond, who is actually excellent at hiring felons. A lot of the counties are as well. And I have also worked for the state for 5 years, and that was after my felony as well. And I also ended up in a Fortune 500, and I never lied on my application about having a felony.
So for those people that are out there that do struggle with that, because, you know, it's a common thing about people saying, you know, I just got out of jail, I just got discharged, I can't find a job. What would you say to that person?
It's hard. It's hard. And you only fail when you quit. Quitting is failing. But when you keep going and keep pursuing and you put your hard bottoms on every day and you show up every day and you put the weed down, you put the drinking down, whatever you need to do. And even if that isn't working for you, to really consider, you know, what talents that you have that you've kind of put on the back burner. Because a lot of us have talents like yourself.
Just call me out.
You know, I mean, how many different talents do you have?
Yeah,
you're an artist, you are a poet, you are a master creator of art and digital, and you're doing this, and you're a mother, and how many different talents do you have that you can cultivate and actually make money on? So even for yourself, if we use you as an example, what can you do with your levels of talent? And if we broke that down and people took the time to actually write down a list of all the shit you know how to do. I mean, even little shit. Do you know how much stuff that people know that they blow off? You know, I mean, what if you actually took the opportunity to show and started a class to show anybody over 55 how to use a smartphone?
Yeah.
How many people at AAA would actually pick up something like that for $10 and you teach it on a Saturday? Your class will be full. How many times that you can go on Fiverr or Udemy, or what kind of course can you create, you know, to actually sell something that you do, like how to use backgrounds and how to design. Those things are
flyers and stuff.
It's so much that we have to offer that we don't even look at. Even if you were a convicted felon, could you sell a course to tell people how to get back and build relationships with your significant others? How do you reconnect with your children? There's so much stuff that you can sell, and it's not actually even selling, it's actually a service.
Right.
You're blessing somebody with your talents, because I don't want to do it. Right. I don't want to make flyers. I don't want to figure out how to fix my YouTube video. I don't want to do that.
Right.
You know, I want to talk. This is my gift, right? And you have your gifts and your talents. So what are all the list of things that you have discounted that you truly could actually offer as a service to someone else that they want? People buy crap. People buy PDFs of crap just to put on their website. You know, people buy website designs that, you know, you can easily go out and learn. And then learning other talents, you know, there's no excuse. You don't have to go to a 4-year college, because Udemy is $9 courses. What do you want to learn? What do you want to do? You know, library cards are free. Access to this information is free. YouTube, free. How much information can you learn on YouTube?
Everything. How to fix a car, everything.
You can learn everything you want. So what do you have as a talent that you should capitalize on that doesn't even involve you having to talk to anybody to sell yourself?
Right.
So that's my best suggestion, is to really look at what your talents are and your gifts are, and how can you capitalize on giving back to the people who really want to buy your services and buy what you have to offer, because we need you, right?
Yeah. And everybody out buying different stuff every day. There's a kid on YouTube that's making money playing with toys. He make like $2 million, they said.
You talking about Ryan?
Oh, you know
Ryan making all the money. My son is 2 years old and just watching Ryan. I'm like, turn that kid off now. Ryan makes plenty of money on endorsements, and he's cute, he's funny, and his parents get it, and they love to do that. And, you know, I respect them for it. I don't want my kid watching them every day because my kid get to scream as soon as Ryan is turned off.
Oh.
You know, so it's interesting stuff. But it's a market out there for that, you know, because that's promotion, you know, and so the people, the products are now paying them for endorsements to do that because people watch Ryan because he's entertaining, you know. And think of all the podcasts, the people you look on YouTube. Well, they get. I don't think the word is endorsements that I'm supposed to be using though. It's something else that I'm thinking of.
They get paid for doing the videos.
Yeah. So I don't know what you can do, but every single one of us has something that somebody wants. It's like 24 billion people in the world, and now we're living in a global economy, and the internet has given us the ability to reach
far.
Everyone. Yeah. The only limitation you have is yourself.
True. What is your greatest accomplishment?
My greatest accomplishment? My greatest accomplishment is keeping my faith. It's my greatest accomplishment.
That's been a struggle?
Yes. Because your children will challenge you.
Yeah, so you ain't never lied.
Your parents will challenge you. And to remain faithful and dedicated to what your calling is, and to know that whether you're dropping F-bombs or whether, you know, the sky is blue or gray today or tomorrow, that there is a tomorrow because the Father has given me tomorrow, and to be able to have that connection with the Lord has been my greatest accomplishment, because the world is here to divide us from that. And then also that would be my first accomplishment to me, because it's so many ways and areas that I could have said, you know, fuck this. You know,
so many times you could have gave up.
I could have given up, but I know what I know today is that my religion and my spirituality, I don't even really like the word religion because religion is like a practice to me, but my spirituality and my connection with God is personal to me, and it's personal to each and every person alive. And how I see things is so different, you know, like I'm a Christian, but there are things that I believe that, you know, more tied into Muslim and Buddhism and Tao and different religions, because I believe there's one God, and I believe we're just all speaking multiple languages. I just feel like religion is just a separation that keeps us separate, just like race is, when we're just a humanity of people. And so my growth and my spiritual development, for instance, like I tell people all the time, I'm a Christian coach that cusses. I love to cuss. And I'm sorry, you might have to cut it out, but I love the word fuck, because I know for a fact that my God knows the intent to which I mean the word fuck. And to which, if I say fuck you, then there's an intent there if I'm saying it out of malice and anger, and that my God knows where my heart is. And I'm like, child, girl, fuck this. You know, I know that my God knows how I meant that, because I know that God doesn't call a tree. I know that's what humans call a tree. And so that what has happened is that we develop language so that we can communicate, and so that we understand each other, right? And so we feel comfortable. But that's not how God works. That's why people are able to speak in tongues. Right.
You're 100% right.
And so that is my greatest accomplishment, is my spirituality, and detaching myself, not from my Bible, because I believe in reading my Bible. I'll listen to Furtick. I listen to T.D. Jakes. I love Sarah Jakes. I love Joyce Myers. I love Dr. Robert Stanley. I love listening to pastors, you know, because I love the charisma. I love the, you know, there's been times I listen to Farrakhan. I love to listen to different people, you know, do their thing, and I hear their opinion, but I do my own research. You know, and then I make my own connection. Then I do my own prayer, and I do my own meditation. You know, I have a whole thing that I do that is connected for me, that works for me. And each and every last one of us needs to make that connection ourselves.
Right.
And so my greatest accomplishment is my spirituality.
Okay. I'm with that. What is your ultimate goal?
My ultimate...
I've asked you the questions make you think.
You know, I'm gonna keep it a buck. My ultimate goal is by 2023 to make $2.5 million. It is a number that I have actually broken down the number. I don't think that you can strive for a goal without knowing why you want it and what you're going to do with the money and why it's important. My whole reasoning for wanting that money and needing that money is simple. I want my people to know that it's possible. Because we see other people striving for that, and then to add $1.5 million after that. I want my people, my children, you know, y'all are adults, that's fine. I want my children to see somebody actually come from the bottom to the top and talk about it. Because there's plenty of successful black people, don't get it wrong. There's black folks that are so successful and that have so much money and old money that they wouldn't even talk to us, okay? We are irrelevant. They ain't talking to us, okay? I'm not saying y'all voted for Donald Trump, but you know you did. But anyhow, keep your money where it is, because I don't know. But anyhow, I'm just, you know, we have money in our community. There's a lot of successful black people in our community. And there's a lot of successful people, period. My thing is that we see so many successful people, they never tell us the story. And that's my problem. They never tell you the truth. I'm not the only felon out there, you know, that's grasping for gold. The things that people have done, just because you're able to cover it up, doesn't make it not a fact about who you are. You know, no matter what you've been through, whether you've been molested, whether you've been the molestor, God knows what you are, you know? And so you need to come correct about where you've been. I saw a really interesting YouTube, I think it was on Instagram, and the woman was doing a interview with another woman who had been I don't think she's not a mule, but she had recruited other young girls through the church to prostitute them. And it was a sister. Two sisters, and prostitute them, and she talked about her story. Now, the first thought is to condemn her,
right?
But
because my face went there.
Yes, the first thought is to condemn her, but she taught us so much that when people are needy, the first place they go is to the church. And so she would come in the back end and find those girls who were needy, and she would make friends with them, because your guard is down when you're in church. And she would take them out of church. But her telling that story shed light. And so shedding the light about how you got where you are is what's important. Don't just go out there and sell something and tell people, you know, I made $10 million last year. That's all fine and good. Tell us how you got there. I can't take it from you. You can't take my money. You can't take what I do, because there's fans and clients who love me. There are people who are only going to listen to Tink for her poetry and how she delivers. That's it.
Right.
And there's enough money for all of us out here. So what's the problem?
It is. So is there any area in coaching that you do not focus on?
I do not deal with people who are married, because I believe that is a very sacred thing. And I think you need a very special coach for marriage who focuses on that. I will do dating for single women, because I'm single and I've been there several times. I was single when I was 21 and had my daughter at 22 because her father went to prison and did a 17-year bid.
So
and
he's
so
out now?
He out and back in again, okay? That's a whole, listen, that story will leave that one on Lord. That one too deep, because my daughter might be like, oh, you in there telling? No, I'm just kidding. So he's back in again, and my son, who is 2 years old, his father is emotionally unavailable. And so by the time I was 3 months pregnant at 41 years old, I knew, no,
it wasn't gonna work.
I cannot deal with emotional abuse, jealousy, you know, just, I'm not going to deal with that. I'd rather be single all day long, so I can tell somebody how to be successfully single,
right,
and be okay while you're there, and how to date and the signs to look for, because I flunked at it so many times. I can tell you what to do and what not to do, and how to create healthy boundaries. And that's a lot of things too. That a lot of people don't have healthy boundaries.
right, right. Or healthy communication.
Ooh, that's a big deal. That's what. Did you not hit on something, girl? I'm actually reading a book by Marshall Rosenberg called Nonviolent Communication. Big deal. Such an amazing piece of work in how we deal with each other in communication. Excellent thought. Communication is a big deal.
Have you ever read the love languages?
Oh, the 5 love languages. Yeah. Yes, I often
never
talk
read it,
about
but a lot of people talk about it.
It's a good solid piece of work. I do like it, and it does stick true to form, that there are people who have different ways that they accept and receive love. Like some people like to be touched. There are some people who need affirmations and need to be constantly told how beautiful they are, or, and so people receive love very differently.
Yeah.
And it's important to know how that other person likes to receive it. And you can know that really quickly, actually, by the way they give it to you.
Right.
That's the way they like to receive it.
Yeah.
So, I like to tell people I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, because I just know random stuff, and that also becomes because I had ADHD and people told me that I was dumb and that I wasn't smart and I could never learn. So now I overcompensate for that by...
So I got a mommy question for you.
Oh.
Because you had your kids far apart. Like me personally, I have an 11-year-old and a 1-year-old that's about to be 2. So you have what, 20? They're 20 years apart, 21 years apart.
Yeah, 21 years.
How was that experience?
They both have their struggles and their challenges, because I was a single mother both times. With my daughter, the first time, the single motherhood was different because he made a bad choice one time. Well, several choices, because you don't just get that kind of time without, it being reciprocal. Right. So, but it was one time. And so you can kind of give a forgiveness there and say, this is this. And I was always honest with her, and I was able to move through that. For my son's father, his behavior and his abuse was a choice.
Right.
And even once it was identified, he had choices, and he makes choices daily. So it's a little bit different. I never thought that I would be the type of mother that really had to monitor my relationship, because I had a hard time bonding with my son, actually, to be quite honest. It was very difficult because, number one, when I first had him, he ended up in for almost 2 weeks.
Why is that?
Well, my placenta had detached, so it was blood in my placenta, and he had swallowed blood. And VCU, being who they are, was overly cautious to make sure that he wasn't bleeding internally, because his first poop had blood in it. Right. And so they thought maybe it was internal, and then some of the best doctors treated him. He was perfectly fine. He's perfectly fine now. Somebody should have warned me that boys are crazy. Okay? Do you hear me? There's something wrong.
I think the girl's crazy, because or maybe it's just this generation. Because my daughter is a piece of work. Honey, she is a piece of work.
Well, how old is she?
She's almost 2. I think she's been here before.
She might have been here before, though.
Yeah, I think she's been here before. Because that little thing, she knows some of everything. Yes.
So it could and maybe it's not boys, but for me right now, it's boys. And all of you are crazy. Okay? You need to study the language. No, I'm just kidding.
So, how did you deal with becoming a single mother all over again? Picking up the pieces.
Very hard.
And that meltdown. How did that meltdown come apart?
I've had 2 meltdowns. I've had 2 emotional meltdowns. And I'll be honest, I've had 2 emotional breakdowns. I've never been... They're my breakdowns. I don't know if you would... I never ended up in tuckers. I didn't end up in tuckers. But if you need tuckers, by all means, go. It's better than killing up the whole family and drowning in the bathtub. Oh. So I'm just saying.
Did you suffer postpartum?
According to the diagnosis from the doctor when you do the form, no. And I don't think I had postpartum. I think that I had disappointment partum. I think I was very disappointed in my son's father, his behavior, his response, how he treated me, his lack of attention, and the fact that he is clearly a narcissist. And people throw that out lightly, like he's a narcissist or she's a narcissist. When you meet a narcissist, you will know. Some people got narcissistic traits, and so you have to be very careful. They have narcissistic traits.
That's the difference between actually being.
If you meet a narcissist, you will know. You will know. Definitely. And so the breakdown was actually the catalyst that let me know that I needed to be better for my son. Because I was so good in my, that first part of my 40s, I was Tinder swiping and dating and having a great time. I was good. My career was going
Back
great.
Up. Did you just say Tinder swiping?
Oh, y'all don't Tinder Y'all ain't Tinder.
Tinder swiping.
I was always one of those people that once I got into a relationship with somebody, I stayed. Period. I'm dedicated, don't cheat, I'm faithful. But I was never really in love. I was always, we had fun together, and now
he's just loyal.
And now I'm just kind of here with it and whatever.
So you've never been in love?
No. I don't believe so. No, I don't. No. Today, how I would say that I would experience love is not through, and I can count on both of my hands how many relationships. I think I've been in 5 or 6 relationships that have lasted between 3 to 5 years. And was I ever in love? No. I don't feel like that was being in love. I cared about them. I wanted the best for them. I wanted to help them because I've always been a helper.
Right.
Always been a helper. I bought my first house when I was 24 years old. I have had so many people live with me. It ain't even funny.
Right.
And so also lost that house too. You can do too much for people and
hurt yourself in the end.
Hurt yourself in the end. But I lost that house and I sued Bank of America and I won. You can win, people, okay? But it's called determination. Because you see this face? Doesn't quit. This face.
What frustrates you the most about coaching?
What frustrates me? Oh, yes, you are. What frustrates me the most is because coaching is not about telling you, okay,
what's best for me.
No, I'm not here to suggest what's best for you. I'm not here to be your therapist. I'm not here to be your friend. As friends, we would talk, right. And I would give you suggestions and I tell you what I would think and my opinions. Coaching is purely about asking questions to make you think. Because the truth of the matter, each and every last one of us has what we need already within us.
Right. We just got to reach in and get it.
You just got to dig in it. But most of us don't have the capacity or the ability to get past the blocks. And that's what coaching is successful about. It's successful at asking the right deep questions. I like to coach deep. I mean, I ask questions like, actually, you want to be a coach? No, really, you dig it? No. So, you want to dig. You want to ask the things that nobody has the courage to ask them. So if I'm sitting across from a VP of a company, I'm going to ask him, why haven't you looked at the books? Why do you have somebody managing your books and you haven't looked at them?
Right.
And then you're asking, you don't know where your money's going, and why are you spending that way? Why are you, renting a Learjet? Why are you flying off? Why are you making these purchases, but yet you say you want to invest in your business? So it's about asking the questions that nobody else writes. Right. And so it's not for me to tell you things, because if I wanted to tell you something, then I would be a mentor, or I would be a
therapist.
A therapist. I would be a not a contractor. Why am I missing the word? It starts with a C. You wouldn't be a mentor, but you'd
Counselor?
be not a counselor. When somebody helps you with your job.
Consultant.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be your assistant.
That's what you're about to be. You keep messing around. Shoot, I pay for good work, honey. I believe you. That is one thing I always do, because I do have a coach. I have 2 coaches and I have a therapist.
For yourself?
You best to believe it.
Why
I want to be
2
great.
Coaches?
Because I have a business coach and I have a coach that helps me with my mindset to make sure that I don't remain stuck.
So it's differences.
Absolutely. There are coaches who specialize in different areas. There are relationship coaches. There are dating coaches. There are parenting coaches. People specialize in niches for coaching. And my whole niche is all about mindset and resiliency. Helping people build their resiliency, because my ultimate goal is to help people who are coming out of the prison system be resilient and keep going.
So do you go to prisons and talk with
people?
No,
I have not. Well, I haven't done it the way that I want to do it. I want to get a federal grant to actually do it. What I do is just people through referrals, and they come in that way. I want a program to actually teach people in the prison system how to coach, because it's a long-term opportunity. They need at least 60 days in the system to start the process, to see the vision, and to break the cycle that they have. Because when you're in prison, you're so low. You have all these things you want to do, but you're also filled with guilt. Right. And anxiety and what people will think about you. It's a really low point. But that's
and some people don't have people there for them.
They really don't. And the people don't believe in them.
Yeah.
And when nobody believes in you,
it makes it 10 times harder.
It makes it 10 times harder.
I mean, make it harder for us out here that ain't even locked up when people don't believe in us. So imagine being in that situation.
Yeah, and it's easier for a lot of them to say, you know what? Subconsciously, I don't think they do it on purpose, but subconsciously they sabotage themselves and they end up right back. A lot of us sabotage ourselves. It's self-sabotaging. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not shit. I'm going to end up back in jail anyway. What's the big deal? And so then, you end up with friends and hanging out with people who are doing
stuff that going to bring you down. Yeah. So what do you love? I think I know the answer to this, but what do you love about coaching?
I love to see when the person gets it and they go, oh.
That's all I had to do.
And you hear a deep sigh. They go, oh. And it's like something that's lifted. And they say, I learned so much from you. And I'm like, you ain't learned nothing. You learned it from yourself. No. You already have it. I mean, there are certain places and spots when I know that people are open to the information that I will insert and say, hey, are you open to a suggestion or some feedback, or do you are you open to that? Because it's always a question, or are you open? Right. So because not all the time. Some people just want to be heard, and if that's where you are, then we'll listen. We'll ask deep questions, and you'll write. You'll take notes, and you'll go home. You'll think about it. You'll journal. You'll meditate. You'll pray on it. You think up things that are self-care about you, but coaching always is about you. So as soon as somebody brings to the table and they start talking about this and whoa.
So is it like you have like numbered sessions, like, we're going to do 10 sessions, we do 5 sessions, stuff
Usually
like that?
I start with 6. I try to do 90 days, 6 sessions, and it's like every other week. Some people want to do a session a week, and I'm fine with that. I really would love to get into group coaching. I think that's going to be my next adventure, to try to do some group coaching. Because I want to do group coaching is having between excited. 10. Oh my gosh, I did. Because I've done 2 coaching groups, and I really loved how they went down. I would like to do some group coaching around limiting beliefs and challenging beliefs and your belief systems. I also like to do one around money and financial beliefs, because so many of us have belief systems around money and our finances, and that's why you'll see people who really have enough to survive, but they're not. So they're filing bankruptcy, they're losing cars, but the money really is there.
Yeah.
There's really a subconscious belief that they don't deserve it or they're not good enough or different things. We do it all the time. I do it all the time to myself. I'm no different than anyone else. That's why I got a coach. That's why I got a therapist. To help me also.
So, what skills or experience have you gained outside of coaching that you bring into your practice?
I am always I'm always learning. I love to learn. Some days I think I do too much. I'm like, I need to chill out for real. I really am a self help guru. I like to learn different modalities about the mindset. I love cognitive behavioral therapy. I love NLP, neuro linguistic. Um, I love learning about relationship coaching. I just started getting into sex coaching. It's I love
Sex coaching. What is that?
Oh yes.
She got excited.
Sex coaching is dope. Oh my gosh. Sex coaching is so dope. I mean, I don't think that I would want to do it because sex coaching really is about really being so open because there's so many dynamics of relationships. People don't think about relationships as deep as relationships are meant to go because really as a people we were tribal, and so we were all accepted in a group, and people think about threesomes and different ways that people love each other and polyanism and different types of relationship dynamics, and to you it may seem
crazy,
nuts,
yeah,
but to some people it actually fulfills their need because they don't have the need for that type of connection all the time with somebody right there with them, or they have a deeper need for a connection of 2 to 3 lovers because this person's able to give them something that the other two people.
So it's like they combine them.
Correct. And they all know about it. It's all about open, honest communication, or it's again about what you said earlier about communication and connection and how you love the other person and understanding what the other person needs, so even in the bedroom and how you like to be loved or like to be touched or like to be caressed, people find a divide because the other person doesn't understand why this one likes it this way and this one likes it that way. You've been with somebody, wait a minute, calm down, I just want to experience something different,
right?
And so I find the whole sex and relationship coaching to be so amazing because again it's about communication and connection. Just like, why do people always think that relationships have to end badly? Right, I don't get that.
They can end amicably.
Yeah, you could have had a successful short-term relationship and it's like, hey, we just have chosen, that this isn't working for us and
we need to go our separate ways.
And I wish you the best and I still want to be friends.
Right.
I wouldn't mind seeing you and us hanging out. And that's it. And you just go your separate ways and maybe you hang out here and there. Maybe you sleep together here and there till y'all find someone else. I don't know. Whatever works for you.
It's possible.
As long as both people's mental is healthy.
Right.
And both people are getting what they need out of the relationship, that's what's important. Right. But once somebody else is suffering or hurting, that's when things in the dynamics need to change.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've gotten all that I need. Is there anything else you'd like to add or anything else you'd like to express that I didn't touch on?
Just, it really is about taking care of yourself. Your mother, your wife, your friend, your daughter, your sister. But the most important thing is taking care of yourself first. Whether you're a man, and a lot of times men don't take care of themselves, and I feel a deep compassion for men, especially, just put out, especially our brothers. I feel a deep compassion for them because of how stereotypes are set up and the judgments are set up against them. And the truth of the matter is being a deadbeat has nothing to do with race. Not taking care of your children have nothing to do with race. And let's just put this on the record. Y'all can look it up yourselves. America, 77% of y'all are white. So it is virtually impossible for the 11% of black people to be using up your social services, okay? That's you. So I just want to put that out there. And, you know, they tell us these things like the Hispanics are using up all the services or the black folks are using up all the services. Those are things that they use to divide us. Race and religion are the two things that have caused the most violence in our worlds. And really, that's just propaganda to keep us separated from us really being able to accomplish the greater good. Because if we are fighting and killing each other, and
we ain't focusing on what need to be focused on.
No, and you can't focus on making your money when there's plenty of money to be made, because you have so much talent and so many gifts, but they keep your mind so wrapped up.
They use stuff to distract you.
Correct. They use things like race, religion, this whole Donald Trump thing, and all this negative stuff on TV. It's nothing wrong with watching reality TV and all that stuff, but just remember that sometimes you need to take at least 15 to 20 minutes a day and just think.
Right.
So
thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have you come back again and again and again. I really appreciate you. So can you tell us where to find you?
Sure, thank you. Yes, I always forget to do that. So, again, my name is Tonia Emanuel, Emanuel. You can find me at coachu360.com. That is Coach YOU spelled out 360, and the 360 is about being whole, because I believe each and every one of us was born whole, and the only goal we have in life is to become whole again and to love yourself 360.
I love that.
Thank you.
Love that. Thank
you. Look, get your roll on. Tell them niggas in the back they gotta hold on. They all hate.
Tink did not come to play with you hoes. I came to slay, bitch.